had an opportunity and to have the opportunity to hear from Amber, who wants to tell her story and share her story with us. And, a lot of the things that have been talked about in here already are just hard to hear when you've gone through it, And so I just want to, and this is Heather, Amber's friend, who's been helping her a lot with her case. And this is just the beautiful little human who's going to walk around the room whenever she can while we talk.
She's our newest. So my name is Amber Munoz. So my husband's name is Jose Munoz. He was taken by ICE on September 12th, 2018. We have 3 children: Jose Angel, which is 2 years old; Annabella, that is 1; Annabella Rose, this is her; and then Adeline, which is my oldest 8-year-old. It is his stepdaughter. We married March 8th, 2016, so going on 4 years. So when they took my husband, I was not working, and I was 7.5 months pregnant with our daughter. So first, Jose was taken to Folkston County Detention Center in Georgia, and then from there I drove 12 hours to see him pregnant with our daughter, and I took my son and my father, and we drove down there, which we were able to spend 2.5 hours with him, and that was a contact visit, which was really wonderful, because how Jose got taken was, we went to go pick up a truck in Virginia, and I put insurance on the truck to make sure we were legal and okay to drive it back. He drove the car, and I said, if I get pulled over, just keep going. Like, don't stop, just keep going. But of course, it's my husband, he did not. He stopped. And they found he had a 10-year-old warrant for a DUI. From 10 years ago that he had no idea about. And turns out it wasn't even his DUI or his fault. It was a guy that he rode with named Jose, and they put it on him. So he had no idea about it at all. So we went to fix that, which they had no proof. The police officer that took him wasn't there. There was no paperwork on it, but the judge sentenced him to 12 months probation. So that's how he got took in Asheville, in the probation office upstairs in the courthouse. So, of course, me pregnant and scared about all the immigration stuff, I went in the courthouse first, checked it out, I called them, I was like, there's no immigration here, but they were upstairs where I couldn't go to take, because I have my son. So they took him there, and that was it. I didn't get to say bye. It was just, he just left. So that's, when I found out where he was going, and we drove that 12 hours to go see him, and I thank God we did, because that was the last time I got to see my husband, actually hug him. And that was really, really, really tough. So after a month there, they moved him to Stewart. So he stayed 2.5 months in Stewart. He said it was really, really rough. The people there were absolutely horrible to him and to everybody there. And my husband's a very nice person. So it was kind of off for him to say something like that. So, but anyways, so when that happened, we had filed for a U visa for my husband, which a U visa is if you do, I'm sure you guys know what U visa is, but if you do something here in the United States and you are from outside of the United States, the police officer can give you a petition or a paper for a U visa. So he was in an accident that happened in off of Sweeten Creek in 2015, I believe, 2015. His sister was shot, his brother-in-law was shot, and my husband was shot at. So they tried to shoot my husband first, and the gun didn't go off. So he ran, and then they shot his brother-in-law and his sister, which they both lived. So, that was really good, but he was the one that called the police, and he was the one that saved his brother-in-law's life from the gunshot wound, because he got shot in the face. So he complied completely with the law and was able to get this application for a U visa. So we filled that out. We tried to do it when I was pregnant with our son, but they wanted $2,000, and we didn't have $2,000 to pay for it. So when he got caught, that was like the first thing we did, was make sure that happened, that we had some kind of backup for him. So that is in effect, and it takes like 4 years or so for that to go through. But the lawyer that we had wasn't very good, so that's unfortunate. He had to file an emergency stay paper, and he did, but the people that took my husband, the ICE officer, put my husband on the asylum track. And I know you guys just heard about the asylum, but my husband was not seeking asylum, because to seek asylum, you have to have a lot of proof. I mean, to go through that way is very, very hard. And there was no proof that he was in any danger whatsoever out of his country, because he came here when he was 14 years old. So there was no asylum. So when they threw that asylum out, the lawyer had to refile the emergency stay paper, and he did not. And because he did not refile, they deported him. So that was the lawyer's fault. So that really, really stayed really bad. So just to back up, so our daughter was born on November 1st, so she just turned 1. Healthy baby. I was blessed enough to be on the phone with Jose when I had our daughter. So, there's a lot of lockup time in between. So I was really lucky that he was able to be out of the cell, and I was able to be on the phone with him. So that was really great. So we decided to go visit him after having our daughter. She was a couple weeks old, the day after Thanksgiving. And that took me 12 hours of driving because I had to stop every 2 hours to feed the baby. So, and I took all 3 kids this time, and I was by myself. But I was so determined to see my husband and have him meet our daughter. And that testimony that that man gave about that child yelling was really, really hard, because our son, he was 1, so I was so scared that he was going to forget his dad, because he hadn't seen him, and he was so little that it was just terrifying to me. But he did. He remembered his dad, and he did not want to leave, and he cried all the way out, and it was probably the worst thing I've ever done. And our daughter, who's just a couple weeks old, seeing her father, him seeing her for the first time behind glass and not being able to hold her, was absolutely horrible. It was really nice to see him because I hadn't seen him in so long, but just that, him not being able to hold his daughter was really, really hard for us. So, anyway. Okay, so we got an hour, we got an hour on the phone. So that was no. So, she's still a nursing baby, so just like telling me like it's time.
And just to be clear, it's Stewart. I don't think there's any option for HUDs.
No,
Absolutely not. So thank goodness you had one place where you could get some contact.
Yeah, I was really grateful that we had I'm so glad we went that first time, but like I said, I was pregnant, so he didn't get to see her or meet her. Anyways, so it was like December 23rd, I believe, my husband was deported back to Mexico. right before Christmas, so that was good that he got to be free. His mother and sister and family lives in Mexico, so he got to go back. And I don't know. I don't know if you know the crisis that is going on at the border right now, but it's really bad. I don't even know if I should say this. But like the Mexicans are killing Mexicans that are coming back across.
Yeah.
Because they think they have money. So if they come in, because the cartel controls the whole border. So when you come in and they don't know your face, they ask you, who are you, where are you from, where are you coming from? They question my husband. And so my husband told him I'm from America. And I'm going to Nayarit, where his family is. And anyway, they picked him up off of a bus and held him captive for 3 days. And I did not know until after. Nobody told me until he was safe. But yeah, they wanted $3,000, or they were going to kill him. So that was like crazy to me that they would do that to their own people, but it's just the way it is at the border. It's very scary. So when we, so our daughter, she just had surgery. She has, she had severe left hydronephrosis, which is a blockage in the tube that goes from her kidney to her bladder. So with that, I tried to get my husband here on a temporary parole visa to be here for our daughter for her surgery. And it didn't. They didn't respond, and I'm actually still waiting today to hear an answer on an expedite that I had sent in. It's supposed to be going to be faster, but it's not. So that was really hard for him and hard for me to go through that, because none of my other kids have had any surgical problems or anything like that, and it was really tough. It was really, really tough for us. So
Can I just pop up really quick and just say, this woman bravely went through these, procedures with this beautiful child on her own, right? With these amazing 2 other children to take care of, and doing this all on her own, right? And like, our government's policies did that. Like, they have created this situation, and anyway, I just want to say how incredibly strong this woman is. Strong.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, because I'm trying really, really hard, really hard, for her and Sarah helping me out so much through like the most difficult times in my life. Like I couldn't possibly repay that. And SEMA, I don't know if you're familiar with SEMA around here. SEMA was there from day one. The day they took my husband, somebody came out and talked to me and like took me throughout this whole process. And without SEMA, without Bruno, I wouldn't have met these wonderful ladies. So I'm extremely, extremely grateful. Extremely grateful for that. Because when you apply for an I-131, which is what I applied for to bring my husband for her surgery, you have to have a sponsor. And it took me forever to find a sponsor, because nobody's just willing to just do that. And but these ladies did. Because they came up, I was able to do that for my husband, and I'm incredibly grateful. So I still call like 2-3 times a week, sometimes every day, for those papers, and they just tell me the same thing over and over. But it's just, it's been a year, 2 months, 5 days, so it feels like forever. I feel like at this point I'm losing my husband, because he's kind of lost all faith in coming back, because it's so hard. It's like you want to do the right thing and come the right way, but they make it impossible for you to do that. And I don't understand why they make it so hard to do it the right way. That's why everybody's doing it the wrong way.
There is no path.
Yeah, there isn't. And people think, oh, well, they can make money down there. My husband's sister works 7 days a week and brings home $140 a week. A week. And that's nothing compared to how expensive everything is there, especially when you don't have money. It's so bad. It's so bad. They don't have cars. They don't have transportation. They use taxi or they walk. My husband, when he was here, he's a construction worker. He does sheetrock. So when he was here, he was making like $1,000, $1,200 a week. So going over there and making like $40 a day is just like, in his mind he just wants to blow his head off. Like, you know what I mean? Like he just can't stand the thought of doing it. But he does, you know, because he has to. He has to feed himself, and so he is having a really hard time right now, and he feels like there is no other way, you know, and he's talked to me about doing the wrong things, about coming the wrong way, you know, getting in with the wrong people just to be here for our kids, and I'm just telling him no, because I don't want you to die, you know, and that's what it is. You know, when he got taken, they give you a password for 30 days. So when you pay that money to them, they say, when you come back across this way, you need to give us this password, this name. If you don't give us this right name, they take you again, and then they take your money again. So you have 30 days to come back through. And if you don't, then you have to pay again. And it's just crazy. It's insane.
And the U visa, does everybody know what a U visa is? It's a visa that they can get for helping with a criminal. If they're a witness to a criminal act and they're willing to go testify, then they can get a visa to stay here. And it sounds like he's totally qualified for that, but somebody didn't follow up on it. So he could be legal right now. He could have papers.
Yeah. Well, the UV says I'm waiting on it. It'll be
it's still in process.
It's still in process.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
Because it takes like 4 years.
Yay.
Yeah, it takes 4 years. His sister is still waiting on her visa, and it'll be 4 years. So we just got his done because we really should have done it when I was pregnant with our son. We just didn't have the money. So. But now it's done, so it'll be another 4 years. And my husband says there is no life in Mexico. There is no life for us because we have talked about going to see him there. But honestly, I'm terrified of that because I do not speak Spanish like 100%, not even 50. Maybe like 25. So, I won't be going completely blind, but I will be going not knowing the whole what's going to happen. So I don't want to get down there and I don't want to die in Mexico. I'm too young to die, so I'm just not ready for that. So anyway, so that's pretty much the gist of everything. We're just having a really hard time in our life right now. Like, I'm getting ready to move to Georgia to be with my dad because I've done this by myself for a year, and I'm having a hard time paying my bills. And the government is so messed up because I tried to get child care vouchers for my kids, and I can't because the father doesn't live in the home, and I have to file child support. So that doesn't make any sense, and I told him, so how am I going to file child support on my husband who's not here to pay the child support so that when he comes home, we'll have this huge child support debt to pay back, and he'll go to jail. So it doesn't make any sense to me at all. And to find childcare for 2 kids because my oldest is in school, and she stays with her dad through the school. I get her on the weekends for the first time ever, which is really weird, but it is what it is. It's like $10 an hour, and I can't even make $10 an hour to pay for childcare. So how that I can't. Yeah. So I've been selling stuff and literally having a really hard time. So that's
she's going for that phone.
And then she has these gorgeous children that just light up the room.